Alright, so the Super Mario Brothers movie is now out digitally, and after rewatching this movie, I realized that this movie is chocked full of Easter eggs. So instead of doing a full scene-by-scene breakdown, I wanted to touch on as many Easter eggs, like Mario's hat. Look at his hat, his hat's gotta be one, right? Dang, Mario, no need to panic, buddy. So grab your overalls, ground pound that like button, and block smash subscribe to stay up to date on all things heavy spoilers. Now here we go! Wow, 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 wow. Alright, so this opening Bowser entrance features his flying castle fortress that was first introduced back in 2000's Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 console. This made a few more appearances later on, but also has some DNA from Bowser's lava lair that was featured in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Bowser's army features a bevy of Koopas as they're clearly separated into ranks by their shell color. Greens look to be kind of privates, reds are more like sergeants, and blues are commanders. Now, I'm probably getting those ranks and verbiage all wrong, but it's because of what their shells are capable of doing in Mario Kart, with green shells being the most pedestrian, red shells will track the character, as blue shells always hit their mark. The Magic Koopa is Bowser's trusty wizard named Kamek, and he's made several appearances over the years and in games, but was first introduced as the main villain in 1995 Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. The Bowser flags that the Koopas are flying are similar style to those at the end levels that Mario has to pull down from the poles in order to complete the levels in the 2D games. The little penguins Bowser faces off with are modeled after the big old penguin that you can race on the Cool Mountain in Super Mario 64. Or if you're a real menace to society, you would rescue the baby, and before delivering it back to his mother, you drop him off the edge. Bowser uses his flame breath, which is, been a staple ever since his first appearance, revealing that the penguins had been hiding a giant question block, something that would give players coins, power-ups, or even decoys in the Mario games. Cracking open the block, Bowser gains a Power Star, an incredibly valuable item in the games that allowed Mario, or I guess whoever, to become invincible for a brief amount of time. In later iterations, they were used as collectibles or even a form of currency in the Mario Party games. The Mario Bros. Plumbing commercial features a classic tune called the Plumber Rap, and nostalgic fans will know that this is pulled directly from the 1989 live-action Super Mario Bros. Super Show. With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game, we're not like the others who get all the fame. Another nod to the Super Mario Bros. Super Show is the woman in this plumbing commercial. This is the voice of Jeannie Elise, who voiced Princess Peach in that series, along with Birdo and Shy Guy. The commercial shows Mario and Luigi flying like superheroes, and this is a fun nod to the Cape Mario power-up that first was introduced in the 1990 Super Mario World that allowed Mario to float through levels and attack enemies by spinning the cape. The map Mario scoots the car across has references to many of the storefronts that we'll talk about and see later, but just wanted to point that one out. Great attention to detail. Funny enough, the web address that's featured in this commercial is real, but also fake for their plumbing business, full with service areas and testimonials from customers, including a 1-star review from their former boss, Spike. Spike, who we later see in the pizzeria, was the main antagonist from the 1985 video game Wrecking Crew, which surprisingly featured the Mario Bros. As construction workers before their own game as plumbers later that year. The phone number from the commercial also works, allowing you to listen to a cute little answering machine message from Charlie Day's Luigi.
Thank you for calling Super Mario Brothers Plumbing. It's me, Luigi. And if you need service, please text us at the same number you just called.
The restaurant that the Mario Bros. Watch the commercial in is called Punch Out Pizzeria, a nod to the boxing game by the same name, where you box as Little Mac going through the ranks like Rocky. A lot of your opponents in the game are also portraits on the walls, including Bear Hugger, King Hippo, Mr. Sandman, and Glass Joe, amongst, others. Funny enough, Mario also makes an appearance in this game as a referee. 2 small portraits of Duck Hunt are also amongst the fighters on the wall. Now, Duck Hunt was a pack-in game that came with the original Super Mario Bros. Game on the Nintendo, and along with that, there's a little tiny green and white flagpole that was the original design from the Super Mario Bros. Games. Behind the Mario Bros., an older gentleman is playing a Jumpman arcade cabinet, and this is modeled after the Donkey Kong arcade cabinet, looking at the cabinet artwork and screen featuring the classic Level 1 layout. In its initial release, the protagonist of the game was simply referred to as Jumpman, but Little Mario in the cabinet's sale brochure. It even has the same classic sound effects. The older gentleman named Giuseppe looks awfully similar to Mario in his design, and this character is voiced by the original Mario and Luigi voice actor Charles Martinet, who also did every iteration of the character until this movie. He even voices Mario's father as almost a passing of the title or lineage. The news broadcast behind the Mario Bros. Mentions Mayor Pauline, who was the mayor of New Donk City in the Super Mario Odyssey game, but also first appeared as the damsel in distress in the original Donkey Kong arcade cabinet. The ticker on the bottom mentions stolen vegetables being recovered by the Ice Climbers, a shout out to the duo of Popo and Nana from the 1985 Nintendo game by the same name, along with Hogan's Alley, an obscure shooting range light game similar to Duck Hunt. Luigi's ringtone is the classic GameCube startup screen. And the caller ID image is that of a faceless Mii, of which was first introduced on the Wii as a player avatars in Wii Sports and other Wii titles. This might be a stretch, but when Luigi hangs up the phone stating, "We got one," maybe a sly nod to 1984's Ghostbusters when they get their first call as well.
Thank you. We got one!
I mean, Luigi does deal with ghosts in Luigi's Mansion, so I mean, he would be a fan of Ghostbusters, right? Right? Mario's car keys have the same classic M that's featured on his cap, along with the windshield of their van featuring a sticker that looks awfully similar to the Nintendo seal of quality that I remember being on a lot of my Super Nintendo games. The newspaper rack that they run by features a paper called the Daily 8-Bit, a reference to the original Nintendo system being an 8-bit console. The truck behind them has a design that's modeled after the Game & Watch game Fire, where you had to kind of save people from a burning building by catching them. But here it looks like it's updated a little bit with the Mr. Game & Watch character collecting falling fruit. A Game & Watch character also is on the sign in the construction zone that the brothers run through. Now, the construction zone is modeled after World 1-1 in Super Mario Bros., where the paint cans, small boxes, and green boards being the same layout as the blocks and pipes in that level. Even the Castle Burger sign is supposed to be the flagpole, with the restaurant being the castle at the end of that level. The Ritzy family has a painting that looks like an artistic interpretation of a Monty Mole on their wall, along with a glass sculpture of a Pikmin from the 2001 game by the same name, hanging blocks that look similar to any Mario level, and the husband is seen reading a book with the title Galaxy, featuring a logo similar to that of Super Mario Galaxy. The gold, red, and blue pipes below the bathroom are definitely featured in a Mario level or two. I remember playing this. I can't think of what exactly this one is, but they're level dressing rather than ones that you actually go down. So please, in the comments, let me know what level I'm thinking of. It's driving me crazy. There's a whole look at Mario's extended family, which is honestly a bit weird, but Illumination said that they were based on unreleased Nintendo sketches with little to no alterations, so I guess, they had Mario's family planned all the way back then, so the more you know. On the wall, there's pictures of Mario wearing his classic Mario tennis attire, him as a baby with a familiar design, and him and Luigi in graduation gowns, which follow me here, may be an obscure reference to Mario Teaches Typing, a non-Nintendo computer game released back in 1992. On the shelf behind Mario's dad, there's a couple of sheep with sombreros, referencing the sheep herding challenges from Super Mario Odyssey. The table behind him has a phone that looks like a teal Nintendo Switch Joy-Con controller, one of the two original colors aside from the black and gray variants. In a meta within meta nature, Mario's seen playing Kid Icarus on the original Nintendo console. and throughout his room there's a treasure trove of Nintendo nostalgia with a picture of a man golfing in the same position as the box art of Nintendo's golf. His calendar has the same artwork as the original Excite Bike box art. There's a model of Star Fox's R-Wing on the top of his television set, a wrestling poster hyping up a big match between Starman and the Amazon from the original Nintendo Pro Wrestling game. Below the golf picture is the box art of Nintendo's tennis game, and on the other wall there's a sunglasses-wearing polar bear from the Ice Climbers game, Captain Falcon's race car, the Blue Falcon, from the F-Zero games, and posters for Nintendo's Kung Fu, baseball, and potentially what is Nintendo's track and field. During the news report, the bottom ticker references underground crab sightings, which is not a euphemism, but is actually referencing a sidestepper enemy in the Mario Bros. Arcade game, a signal from the star system FS-176, which is the Talon system from the action-adventure Metroid series of video games, and Ryota, I believe, Heiami, who is considered the main character of the N64 game Wave Race 64. So it wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo was trying to build out this big old Nintendo universe. There's another reference to Duck Hunt with the French restaurant Chasse à Canard, which literally translates to duck hunt and features a similar looking mallard duck featured in those games. Mario and Luigi walk past a level 1-2 sign with a familiar musical cue playing in the background. This is the same music that begins to play when you pipe down to the second part of level 1, aka level 1-2. The giant pipe Luigi is sucked into are of the same color and shape as the classic warp pipes that are used throughout the Mario games to get into, hidden areas or warp to progress through the levels. There's also a classic pipe sound when the two are split into different areas and pipes. Toad is seen wearing his classic outfit from most of the games, along with his backpack that he wears in his own spin-off game, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. A few notes of his theme song actually play when Toad is first introduced. A group of Bitty Buds stroll through the scene, which are common enemies first appearing in Super Mario 3D Land, but more commonly Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. And another enemy is the Bram Ball, which first was introduced in 2009's new Super Mario Bros. For the Wii. Princess Peach's castle looks identical to that from the Super Mario 64 game, even having the stained glass window above the entrance as the familiar inside the castle walls theme from the game plays. Luigi winds up in the Darklands, the Koopa Troop's main base of operations, first appearing in the 1988 Super Mario Bros. 3. It kind of has more of a Luigi's Mansion feel as he runs across swoop-like bats from Mario Galaxy, Dry Bones, and Shy Guy enemies in his escape. Luigi mutters, "Mario, where are you?" which might be, again, one of those weird, obscure references in this video referring to a 1980s commercial for the Mario Bros. Game where Luigi mutters this same expression.
They're all coming out the pipes. Mario, where are you? It's a car.
Luigi smashing into a Dry Bones chasing him triggers a familiar sound of jumping on one of these dudes' heads in the games. And Dry Bones reforming is, just like the games. The Mushroom Kingdom is packed. Like, everything here is basically an Easter egg, as the Toad's banking system is based on coin blocks. These little treasure chest icons above them are also the same chests in the Toad houses from the Super Mario Bros. 3 video game. Various symbols throughout Mushroom Kingdom and this Toad Village that kind of relate back to different cups in Mario Kart 8 can be seen, the Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Leaf Cup, amongst others. Mario and Toad walk about a storefront called Crazy Cap, which is a chain of clothing and cap stores that appear in the Super Mario Odyssey game, same colors and logos and everything here. The lovable Toadette is, of course, missing from this movie, but she is featured here on a poster in the background with a couple of other Toads. The antique store is filled with old-school Mario items like Dragon Coins from Super Mario World, Super Bells from Super Mario 3D World, keys from a Yoshi's Island, a boomerang item from Super Mario 3D Land, along with shortcut hammers, P-blocks, P-balloons, music boxes, an axe weapon, and spring that first appeared in the arcade game Donkey Kong Jr. My favorite reference in all of this, though, is the shop owner telling the Toad that's buying the old cartridge to blow on it if it doesn't work, and that it should do the trick. Of course, this is an old urban legend that every single kid would do to their cartridges if they just didn't work when you first put them in. Now, the funny thing is, you weren't supposed to do this at all because it was actually damaging the connections between the cartridge and game console because of moisture buildup. But hey, we were all dumb kids. We didn't know better. There's a couple of fruits alluding to our boy Yoshi, who is unfortunately missing from this movie, with Mario eating an apple that's also referenced or shown in the Super Mario World video game, and the circle watermelon fruit from Yoshi's Island, where you could chomp that thing down and then spit out the seeds like... The map above the elevator Mario and Toad get off on has a similar design of the Super Mario Bros. 3 World 2 overmap with a desert setting, palm trees, and even the castle design. When Mario and Toad arrive at Peach's castle, the guards say the princess is in another castle, which is exactly the message players received when they finished a world in the first Super Mario Bros. Inside the castle, there are familiar-looking paintings similar to the ones you jump in and out of in the Super Mario 64 castle setting. The battle map in Peach's throne room features a couple of classic overworld locations like Yoshi's Island and Sarsaland, the home of Princess Daisy, where we first meet her in Super Mario Land. So maybe that's where a sequel goes. The whole obstacle course setting feels like it's inspired by Super Mario Maker, taking bits and pieces from various Mario games and settings and just smashing them all together into an unbeatable cluster sandbox of creative nonsense. Near the end of the obstacle course, Peach uses her dress to slowly float down to safety, which was a move first implemented in Super Mario Bros. 2, where Peach was able to float for a short amount of time as her special move. Mario does a couple of his classic moves during the obstacle course, including the ground pound or hip drop to bust through some blocks, climbing jumps, and the Super Mario 3 P-meter sprint with his arms out by his side. I love this one. At Bowser's party, pretty much any and all enemies are present, from Koopa Troops, Hammer Bros, Piranha Plants, Spinies, Goombas, Boom Booms, Shy Guys, Sniffits, Chain Chomps, and Ba-Bombs. The rock band members are kind of reminiscent of some of the Kooplings from Super Mario Bros. 3, though not identical. Two of them have similar looking hairstyles to Larry and Lemmy, while the third is rocking sunglasses like Roy's, but with a much smaller body size. And later on, when Bowser is playing his piano, the brand of piano is that of a Ludwig von Koopa, yet another Koopling. And also, if you didn't know this, all of the Kooplings are named after famous musicians. The Bowser statues lining the outside of this party are similar to the ones in, many of the various games, but instantly made me think of the Punch a Bunch minigame in Mario Party 8. Flashbacks to their childhood gives us a look at Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, the infant versions of the Mario Bros, first introduced in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and then we also later get, a baby version of Peach. When traveling to the Jungle Kingdom to gather the Kong army, Mario and Peach and Toad travel through several familiar lands, like the first Ba-Bomb battlefield from Mario 64, what looks like Cheap Beach from Mario Kart 8, the Sand Kingdom from Mario Odyssey, Yoshi's Island, which doesn't feature our iconic Green Boy, and Rock Candy Mines from New Super Mario Bros. U. The music Bowser and Kamek jam together to is another rendition of the Level 1-2 Underground theme from the original Super Mario Bros. And, of course, was featured earlier in the sewer section. There's a whole field of fire flowers of power-up that allows the person to throw fireballs, and usually turns Mario's outfit into, his red shirt with white overalls instead. But here it changes Peach's outfit to the same color palette, even having the fireball make the same sound effect when Peach first makes one appear. The cages Luigi and the others are thrown in over the lava are similar to the ones that have held Peach in the games, which kind of alludes to Luigi taking her place throughout this movie because, from this moment on, the dude is completely sidelined. Amongst the prisoners is a blue Luma named Lumalee. I absolutely love this pessimistic outlook on life, this fun character, but just dreary as hell. But he's from the Super Mario Galaxy game who acts as a shopkeeper type, selling life and one-up mushrooms. Also, his inclusion in this is a big hint to the sequel where it might potentially go with Super Mario Galaxy and introduced Rosalina, who serves as an adoptive mother for all of the Lumas. At the Kong Fortress, the first thing is the rhino-looking hood ornament on the Kong's go-kart, and this, I'm saying, is a nice reference to Rambi the rhinoceros, an animal buddy that you could ride in the Donkey Kong Country games. The Kong bouncer throwing a banana behind him, only to have another cart completely spin out of control, is your classic Mario Kart reference, a la banana trap, to protect your rear. And then using a glider to fly the rest of the way is something that was added into the Mario Kart series when Mario Kart 7 came out and drastically changed that gameplay. DK's entrance into the fighting arena is the grand spectacle at this point, really reminded me of like a Thor and Hulk's battle in Thor Ragnarok, but the infamous DK rap accompanies his showboating, and I love how they incorporated this, but it was originally in Donkey Kong 64 and unanimously was like thought to be one of the worst songs ever. Throughout this, there are tons of Kong references. Obviously, Donkey Kong, dating back to the original arcade machine, but also Cranky Kong and Diddy Kong from Donkey Kong Country 1, Dixie Kong from Donkey Kong Country 2, and Chunky Kong from Donkey Kong 64. Funny enough, some Donkey Kong Jungle Beat bongos are sitting right next to the group. This was a rhythm-based game that kind of surprisingly started the music-based game fad, leading to Guitar Hero and Rock Band. I mean, it was a year earlier than Guitar Hero, so it had to be, right? There's also a random Kong wearing a 64 shirt, referring to the N64. The arena also has familiar red girder beams, blue ladders, and barrels, reminiscent of the original Donkey Kong arcade cabinet that we first saw these two face off in. A couple of power-ups are featured in this section, the first being the blue mini mushroom, first introduced in Mario Party 4, and would shrink whoever, used it. There's also the Super Bell power-up, allowing the person to transform into a cat, being more agile in their movements, first introduced in Super Mario 3D World. Donkey Kong uses a couple of his signature moves from his games, like the barrel roll from the original Donkey Kong Country game, and the Giant Punch, his neutral special move from Super Smash Bros. On the N64. Cranky Kong's cabin is very reminiscent of his cabin from Donkey Kong Country, with a similar rocking chair on the outside rather than that of the inside. There's also a nice picture of Funky Kong surfing, the dude that provided transportation in the earlier Donkey Kong Country games, and sketches of kart designs and a trophy that you'd win if you got first place in Mario Kart. Cranky Kong's map has a similar art style and layout of the map from Super Mario World, featuring the same lands in Peach's throne room from earlier. The entire Mario Kart section, from prep to rolling out to the battle that ensues with Bowser's Koopas, feels like one big homage to Mad Max Fury Road. Heck, even some of the Kongs are wearing pads and armor reminiscent of that movie. We're just missing a big old guitar shredding Diddy Kong or Dixie or someone. The attention to detail when the three create their karts is beautiful because the three selection wheels, cart wheel, and kites featured are identical to that kart selection screen in Mario Kart 8. Even the sound effects attributed to this are the same, and the final selection button has an A on it, being the same button you'd confirm with, an N64, Wii, or Nintendo Switch. Mario's Kart, not Mario Kart, but like the kart Mario picks, is the standard kart selection, with Peach selecting the standard bike. Peach is also rocking her bike jumpsuit outfit from Mario Kart 8, which she wears when she's driving a bike or ATV kart. Toad is driving what looks like a variant of the Tiny Titan kart from Mario Kart Wii, which is fitting because this only is available for smaller drivers, and Toad is a smaller driver. And there's even a small glimpse of the Bullet bike vehicle driven by one of the Koopas later on. My nostalgic heart was so happy when they all drive on Rainbow Road, an iconic Mario Kart course that has many different iterations dating back to 1992's Super Mario Kart, and they even included the iconic shortcut made popular in Nintendo 64 version of Rainbow Road after jumping off the edge, only to cut off like half of the course. Throughout this karting chaos, Mario drifts a few times, which is a move that you'd basically have to do if you want to win races, rewarding the driver with a small boost, as you can see a couple times here, and then the anti-gravity hover wheels that were first introduced in Mario Kart 8. A bevy of Mario Kart weapons are also used, like bananas, both throwing them behind and ahead of the characters, green shells, again, both throwing them ahead and behind, bullet bills, even though they didn't physically turn the driver into a bullet bill like they did in Mario Kart, or they do, and some bombs, and of course, the infamous blue shell that would track down whoever was in first place and completely up their day. It even circles Mario and DK like it does in the games. All of the Kongs are snatched up by Bowser's Koopas using little clown copters, a vehicle Bowser has traveled around in a couple of times that was first introduced in the final boss fight in Super Mario World. After Mario and DK fall into the ocean, they are swallowed up by a Mare. Now, many fans of Mario 64 will know that this guy as the nightmarish eel that you had to avoid and then grab a star from his tail in Jolly Roger Bay. There's also a cute little blooper swimming about the ocean. The two are able to escape using a DK rocket barrel, looking kind of similar to the ones that are used in Donkey Kong Country Returns, but were actually first introduced into the mythos back in Donkey Kong Country 3. Shown earlier when cooking, but Toad pulls out his trusty frying pan as a weapon, which, is of course, a lot of people will know this, a weapon that Peach utilizes in a lot of the Super Smash Bros. Series of games, but actually originated all the way back in Super Mario RPG as Peach's best weapon that she can acquire. When Bowser is practicing his wedding proposal, he wears a similar looking white hat to the one that he wears to the wedding in Super Mario Odyssey, and the flowers that he's holding are smaller piranha plants, a common enemy that is found in almost all of the Mario games. Kamek dressing up as Peach to help Bowser with his proposal is a reference to the new Super Mario Bros. For the Wii, where he did the exact same thing, tricking you into thinking that you had in fact saved the princess. Now, a similar thing happens in Mario and Luigi Dream World on the Nintendo 3DS, but he doesn't wear the wig in that version. At the wedding, the cake toppers look similar to the cake toppers at the wedding in the end of Super Mario Odyssey, but the cake in general seems to take influence from the Super Mario Adventures comic, which ran for 12 issues in the Nintendo Power magazine. Heck, Bowser is even seen wearing a white tuxedo in this comic, so maybe Mario Odyssey and this movie are actually borrowing from this source material. There's a couple of familiar faces that attend the Bowser and Peach wedding, one being King Babam, one of the first bosses you face off with in Super Mario 64, and King Boo, who first appeared and was the main antagonist in 2001's Luigi's Mansion. Also, great attention to detail when King Babam sits on a green Koopa, his shell pinballs back and forth in the pew, much like the shells react in many of the Mario games. An iconic white and green spotted Yoshi egg is on the gift table for the wedding, and we'll talk about this later, so shh. Peach pulls out and uses an ice flower, the opposite of the fire flower, which can basically freeze enemies. And sure, this was featured in later games, but its first appearance was in a 1992 Japanese Mario manga called Super Mario Kun. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Throughout this action sequence, Mario busts out even more of his classic moves like the hip drop that we talked about earlier, but also his spin jump and surfing on a Koopa shell that were both featured in the Snowman's Land level in Mario 64. He grabs a new power-up, the Super Leaf, which allows Mario to wear and use the skills of the Tanuki suit, allowing him to fly with his tail. Similar to when you grab the suit in Super Mario 3, and then you fill up the P-meter, reaching platforms and clouds far above the level. Bowser launches what he calls a Bomber Bill, which is essentially the same as a Bonsai Bill from Super Mario World. They're like bullet bills, but, obviously way bigger. Now, the funny thing is, Mario stopping it with his tail, and in Super Mario World, aside from, jumping on the top of it or ducking below and completely avoiding it, a well-timed spin jump could actually defeat these guys. The Bonsai Bill, after getting, tail whipped, then takes on characteristics of a bullseye bonsai, tracking Mario like a homing missile. This is either a great homage or I'm reaching hard here, but Mario is spit out in a construction zone back in Brooklyn with the cityscape behind him. And this is a wonderfully weird reference to the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Live-action movie where Mario and Bowser merge with New York City in a very similar setting, both locations having similar attributes, a construction area with the Brooklyn Bridge being shown behind them. A lot more of the Brooklyn storefronts and advertisements are seen here, with the first being a car wash billboard featuring a balloon fighter character from the game, Balloon Fight. There's a donut shop that's a nod to the donut-shaped blocks littered throughout some of the classic Mario levels, a Sunshine travel agency, a nod to the Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube, featuring the same logo and font, an ice cream shop called Blizzard Pop, which features the polar bear wearing sunglasses from the Ice Climbers Nintendo game. I mean, this is like the second time this guy showed up. He's getting too much screen time. A drugstore featuring pills on its sign that have the same shape and coloring of the pills featured in the various Dr. Mario games, red, yellow, and blue. A Discoon hardware store, which maybe is the most obscure reference here, referencing the mascot Discoon for the Japan-only Famicom Disk System that was released in 1983. A little sign that says, "Save the Kingdom," being a self-aware message to Mario, saving the Mushroom Kingdom, and a playing card company billboard for Lucky Cards, a nod to Nintendo's origins, starting with their playing cards all the way back in 1902. And the ace pictured here looks like the ace design from their Middle Ages deck. Mario and Luigi grab the Power Star together, allowing them both invincibility. The both of them glowing almost a rainbow color is a nice reference to the look of Mario, morphing into, multiple colors when obtaining one of these in the games. And the familiar Power Star invincibility track plays when it's activated. One of the final moves the Mario Bros. Use on Bowser is the tail throw technique used in Super Mario 64 during the Bowser stages. But unfortunately, missing is Mario's catchphrase of, "So long!" Well, you know what it is.
So long, Bowser.
During the mid-credit scene, we can see Bowser now trapped in a cage residing in Princess Peach's castle, and I'm saying that the cage is a slight little nod to the cage that you have to jump into for Boo's Big Haunt level in Mario 64 in the outside garden area. And the final thing to end all of this is the post-credits tease of our green boy Yoshi hatching out of his egg, the little green dinosaur man that first appeared in 1990's Super Mario World, as we get a late stinger of Yoshi's vocals as it then turns to black. Now, Yoshi's not entirely the last of the last Easter egg in this video, because this whole scene of weaving through the destruction of the underground rubble only to end with an egg hatching is a direct reference to the critically acclaimed, well, not really, I'm just saying that, 1998 movie Godzilla, where the very last scene of that movie is pretty much exactly this last Yoshi stinger. And that is it. Every little, big, obscure, weird, obvious Easter egg we could find in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Of course, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of sound effects and musical cues that we may have missed, but I didn't want this video to be longer than the actual movie. So please let us know some subtle sound effects or musical cues that you really enjoyed and stuck out to you. Obviously, this movie is jam-packed full of Easter eggs, hidden things, heck, things we probably missed, like when Mario and Luigi bust through the wall in the underground section, the shape of the hole in the wall is the shape of Mario's 8-bit head. Yeah, who would have guessed? Not me, that's for sure. But yeah, let us know in the comments what some of your favorite Easter eggs were, and where do you want to see a sequel go for the Mario movie? Because I need a Super Smash Bros. Crossover huge type movie soon. Give it to me now. Anyway, this video took a lot of time, but please let us know if we missed anything. Again, let us know in the comments, because there's probably dozens of things. But yeah, last month we ran a competition giving away 3 copies of the Quantum Mania Steelbook, and the winners of that contest are on screen right now. So if that's you, message us on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. If you want to further support this channel for as little as 99 cents a month, then click the join button below, and as a thank you, you'll get early access to videos every week. You'll be in like this elite special group. We also have our merch store over at zeroedition.com, which sells a lot of nerdy inspired t-shirts, hats, all sorts of things. We recently launched our Peacemaker and Drax inspired t-shirt, so if you want to head over there now and help us out, then the links are in the description. And of course, if you want something else to watch, we have some videos right over there. We're ramping up more classic movie breakdowns, so treat yourself. With all of that out of the way, thank you again for sitting through this huge, long video. It's been a big one. But I've been your host, Jared. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and peace.